Right. Big Baby Miller has failed yet another drugs test. I'm not joking. It feels like it's made up by now. This the fact that he's failed another drugs test, you know what I mean? And I wasn't even gonna make a video about it. Um when it happened a couple of days ago, I wasn't surprised, if I'm totally honest with you. And at that time I was like, for fuck's sake, here we go again. And I wasn't going to talk about it. And what the reason, or what's prompted me to make this video is a couple of things. Firstly, I've seen a lot of people share their opinions about the fact that he failed another drug test. And I've seen the same people give their opinions about his motivations and talk about why they think he cheats. And I've seen people speculate about his mental and emotional state and stuff like that. So that kind of was interesting to me. So I wanted to share my opinions around all of that stuff. And the second reason why I've decided to make this video is this morning I watched Jarrell Miller give his first interview since failing this drugs test. And if I'm honest with you, it fucking pissed me off. That interview was one of the most pointless activities I've ever seen a man partake in. And here's why. If you're going to do an interview after failing a drug test, you've got two options. Option one, own up to it and give details about the fact that you knowingly cheated and why you cheated and tell us you're sorry. Option two, maintain your innocence. This is the option that Jarrell Miller took. But if you're going to maintain your innocence, you're going to have to, you've got a very difficult job in convincing us, the audience. And in order to convince us, you have to come with some information and a story that is at least semi-believable. You can't come on this interview, maintain your innocence, not give any new information and just say it's a legal matter and the truth will come out one day. Like, I don't know who the guy is. It's the first time I've seen him. The guy that interviewed him, he done a fucking good job because he asked the questions that fans want to know the answers to. And Big fucking Baby Miller had the balls to get pissed off with the interviewer at the end of the interview, telling him to do his research, and he just logs out of it. Just logs out of the interview. Like, the fucking balls on the guy. Like, you're in the wrong and you're the one who's getting angry. You're getting angry at the interviewer for asking you genuine questions. Now, if that doesn't reek of guilt, I don't know what does. Do you know what I mean? He actually damaged his reputation more by taking part in the interview and doing what he did, in my opinion. In my opinion. It made him look more guilty than he already did, and he looked fucking guilty. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's failed. I can't remember when the Joshua fight was meant to be, but I think it was meant to be June last year, right? So he failed his drugs test in May, late April last year. We're now kind of, you know, he failed this one end of June. So in the space of just over a year, he's popped twice. And not just popped twice because the first time around, or I say the first time around, that's ignoring the failed drugs test in 2014 that the interviewer tried talking to him about. But let's just talk about this last kind of year. He failed like 3-4 different tests before the AJ fight. And now he's failed one again. Right? So for argument's sake, right, let's just say that Big Baby Miller is telling the truth. Let's just say that he took a tainted supplement and he ingested this substance unknowingly. Let's go one further. Let's just say that he's been as clean as a whistle since that failed drug test before that AJ fight. He's done everything that he should have done. Let's just say that. But the reason he's failed this drugs test is this pulsing effect. That's been happening with John Jones, where the substance has stayed in his body for a long period of time, where they talk about some substances stay in your body for over a year, for over 2 years or whatever. And it's literally like, it's almost as if it's the same failed drugs test as back last year in 2019. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt and let's just say that's the case. Good, because he blatantly was cheating back then. He never owned up to it then. He took advantage of a loophole for not being a licensed boxer by any of the commission in the state. So he just had this weird grey area and took advantage of a loophole. and was able to come back a lot quicker than he should have. That's what he did. Do you know what I mean? That's what he did. And again, I'm not even blaming him so much for that, because I'd say 90% of us as humans would do what he did, especially with the amounts of money that are on the line. And he was able to secure a big contract and sign for a prominent promoter in Top Rank this time around. So he did what most people would naturally do. He was given an opportunity to game the system, and he fucking did it. It's not his fault that the system's set up like that. He just took advantage of it. However, at that time, he was still in a position where he could have owned up to his mistakes, and he could have shown a bit of sincerity. He didn't. This time around, during this interview, he could have shown a bit of sincerity. He didn't. He didn't. So him, this time around, for argument's sake, if he's done nothing wrong, then I'm glad this has happened to him. Because he didn't get punished that time. He didn't get punished the first time around. So now, hopefully, he gets the punishment he deserves. My opinion is he blatantly is cheating. Do you know what I mean? I can't put my finger on what makes him think he'll get away with it, whether he thinks he's like micro-dosing or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But my opinion is he's cheating, and he's been caught red-handed again. Going on to people sharing their opinions about his motivations, about it all. You know, people saying that, oh, he's got psychological issues. I really don't understand why he would do this again, why he feels like he needs to rely on these drugs to fight, etc., etc. And I'm not saying that they're kind of painting a picture where he's a victim, but they're trying to, and I'm not even saying justify might be the wrong word. They're just trying to understand his reasoning, right? But I'm surprised why people aren't saying that this may be a reason why he does it. Maybe he's just a cunt. Maybe he's just a bad person. Maybe he's got no regard for potential ramifications of him cheating and potential health issues it may cause his opponents. Maybe he doesn't give a flying fuck. Maybe all he cares about is himself. Maybe he's just a horrible human being. Maybe he's just a complete and utter cunt. Because in all of the interviews I've seen of Jarrell Miller after he failed that drugs test against before the AJ fight, to this day, he just comes across as a horrible fucking person. He just comes across as a liar. He just comes across as someone that talks a lot of shit. A lot of shit. And I just don't understand why people are defaulting to these kind of mental issues that he might be having, when the first thing that you need to kind of take note of is he's maybe just not a nice person. Maybe he is just a cunt. Don't get me wrong, like, fighters work hard to get to a position where they're able to earn life-changing money. There's a lot of sacrifice, there's a lot of skill, there's a lot of work that goes into getting to those positions. And Big Baby Miller has managed to get himself into that position. But he's broken the golden rule in doing so. It's a contract, it's an agreement where you say to your opponent that I'm going to come into this ring and fight you fair and square, and I'm not going to cheat because both of our health and safety is at risk in this fight. And he agrees to that. But he doesn't stick to the agreement. He cheats. It's a cardinal fucking sin. When you get to the position that the Jarrell Millers of this world are at, you know, AJ's, Tyson Fury, Wilder, Dillian White, you know, the kind of top 5, top 10 heavyweights, the guys that earn, you know, life-changing sums of money. You're now in a position of privilege. You're in a position of privilege because although you've worked your fucking bollocks off to get there, you're privileged because now you're in a position where you agree, you commit to a fight on a set date, and that fight affects loads of people's lives. And you know, the Big Baby Miller fight, how many people booked flights, normal people booked flights to go and watch that fight, spent money out of their pocket to watch Big Baby Miller fight AJ. It's not just an agreement with the fighters, it's an agreement with the fucking world. I'm not trying to get too deep here, but there's within that privilege of being a guy that is a headliner, a heavyweight fighter, or any weight for that matter, but a headliner, a guy that is a focal point of an event where there's millions of pounds being invested in it. It's a position of privilege, and with that comes a lot of responsibility. And he just totally shirks that responsibility by fucking continually cheating. Like, nobody's forcing him to box. He boxes because it's a way for him to earn a shitload of money. He can just go and do a normal job if he wants to take drugs. He can just go and be a postman. Not that there's anything wrong with being a postman, but do you understand? He could just be doing a normal job. He could be working in an office like I do, earning an average salary. Nobody's forcing him to fight. Once you get to that position, you have to start respecting the responsibilities that come with it. And he's just fucking ignored that time and time again. So I hope this time around he gets the biggest, dirtiest ban that is possible given the situation he's in. I really hope he gets a massive ban. And they were talking about kind of upfront fees that people have paid him, his new management team, Bob Arum. Eddie Hearn earlier on today was talking about the upfront he gave Miller before the AJ fight. It seems like he's going to be in a shitload of debt now. The lawyer fees he's probably going to have to pay to try and fight all of this. And you know what I say? Good. Good. Because someone like him, that's what he deserves. That's what he deserves. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Don't be scared to hit the like button. Share this with a friend if you've enjoyed it. Comment. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you guys next time.